I can guarantee that you have never seen a guard build this overpowered. This build can not only play guard, but it can even play lock thanks to its elite defense. Don't believe me? Well, let's go ahead and read some stats directly off the build. This build gets a 96 steal, a 95 3 ball, a 95 ball handle, and a 92 perimeter defense. And no, this build is not 5'9", this build is 6'4". Along with showing you how to create the build for yourself, I'll also be showing you the best way to upgrade the build when you make it, the best possible animations you can put on this build, and of course, the best jump shot. Okay, so now getting into how to actually make the build. For the position, you can go either point guard or shooting guard. The reason I went with shooting guard for the position instead of point guard is because this build has so much defense. You can go point guard or shooting guard. It doesn't affect the build at all. You want to go height 6'4", weight 214, and wingspan 6'7". Now moving on to the stats for the build. For the finishing, you want to go with the 65 close shot, a 75 driving layup, an 80 driving dunk, a 45 standing dunk, and a 40 post control. Now I know an 80 driving dunk might seem low to some of y'all. I am going to show y'all a version of this build that can get contacts, but in my opinion, you don't even really need contact dunks. If you're someone who just takes safe dunks and, only takes dunks when they're wide open, then an 80 driving dunk is really the only thing you need. And then the 45 standing dunk is another underrated part of this build. You're going to get a lot of standing dunk animations on a guard build, which is going to come in clutch. Moving on to the shooting part of this build. For the mid-range, you want to go with an 80 mid-range. That is still enough to fade middies. For the 3-point, you want to go with a 90 3-point. Now, what you want to do here, when you get your starter 3 cap breakers, you want to put all 5 on your 3, and that will bring it to a 95 3. And you're going to get a lot better badges than we already get. So yeah, make sure you put your starter 3 cap breakers on your 3 ball, and then for your free throw, you want to go 70. Now moving on to the playmaking. For the pass accuracy, you want to go 71. I know 71 seems a little low for a guard, but I have 71 on mainly all of my point guard builds, and I've tested higher pass. I don't really see too much of a difference. For the ball handle, you want to go with a 90, and with a 90 ball handle, you're already going to get some really good sigs. You're going to get some very solid badges if you are veteran 2, and that is a huge if. I know a good amount of y'all are not veteran 2. You want to put your +5 cap breakers from veteran 2 on your ball handle. With that, it's going to raise your ball handle to a 95, and you're going to get the best sig size up in the entire game, Steve Francis. And if you are not veteran 2, which I know a good amount of y'all are probably not, you want to put 2 of your +1 cap breakers from hitting level 40 on your ball handle. That is going to bring it to a 92, and that is going to get you the second best sig size up in the game, which is Trae Young. Now, if you have more than 2, obviously keep putting them on there until you get to a 95 ball handle. And then speed with ball, you want to go 86. That is going to get you gold lightning launch. Now, moving on to the defense, which is the strength of this build. First up, we got a 60 interior defense. Nothing crazy, but it is enough to get paint stops. For the perimeter defense, you want to go 92. And then for the steal, you want to go with a 96. That is going to get you Hall of Fame glove, which is pretty much the same steal as most lockdowns on this game, which is wild on a guard build. For the block, you want to go 42. I would have liked to have more block on this build, but I couldn't really find a way to do it. And then for the rebounding, you want to go 27 offensive, 52 defensive. And then normally you would think the physicals is where the build would drop off, but it actually gets better. Y'all are probably confused why I went such high physicals. So basically the reason I did this, I'm going to be guarding ball on this build. If you bring the physicals down, it's going to be way harder to keep up with guards. Let's say you bring the agility to like an 82, and then we bring the speed to an 84. We're going to be able to get a lot more other attributes on this build. We can raise like a lot of different things, but in return, we're not really going to be able to keep up with guards the same way that we would be able to if we were to put everything on the physicals. But the strength, in my opinion, I wouldn't really touch, because 85 strength is going to get you so many good things. You're going to get Hall of Fame strong handle, which I don't even have to explain. Y'all all know that badge is crazy. We're also going to get gold immovable enforcer, and then when we put our max +1 tier 2 on that, we're going to get it Hall of Fame. And then the vertical at a 70, that is enough vertical to get us all of the safe dunk animations, which is what we were looking for. But yeah, this right here is the build. Again, this build is unlike anything I've ever seen before. You get defense like a lock, you get really good stats all around. The only thing you're really missing on this version is contact dunks, which I am going to show y'all another version in just a second that does get contact dunks if y'all do want that. And this right here is version 2 of the build. This is for those of y'all who want contact dunks, which is, I know, probably a good amount of y'all. The only thing you take away, you don't get a 96 steal, which is unfortunate. 96 steal is really nice to have. And you're also going to miss out on an 88 speed and an 86 agility, so you are going to be a little bit slower, but in return, you're going to get an 89 driving dunk and a 78 vertical. Me personally, this is the version that I ended up rocking with. And when you create the build, you're going to get shades of Donovan Mitchell, Doug Christie, and Derek White. And the name that you get is a 2-way 3-point shot hunter. Well, I think the name is going to be different if you put this build at point guard. I have it at shooting guard personally. All right, so now that you've made the build, you of course need to upgrade the build first. So the very first thing I would do, you're not going to waste any time. You want to upgrade your 3-pointer all the way. Now, if you don't have your cap breakers, you can get away with an 89 3-ball. But if you do have your cap breakers, I recommend going to a 90, then immediately putting +5 on your 3-ball. The next Next thing you want to do, you want to put your dunk to a 60. We're not going to go a crazy high dunk because you still get some pretty decent safe animations at a 60 dunk. The way I'm trying to upgrade this build for y'all, I'm trying to save y'all as much VC as possible while still making this a usable build. So the next thing that you want to do, you want to put your ball handle to an 81. You want to put your speed with ball to a 75. Perimeter, I'd go with an 82. For the steal, I'd bring it to a 67. You want to max out the interior. We do need a little bit interior defense on this build. And then you want to upgrade the speed and agility a little bit. Let's go 82 speed. And then let's go like 78 agility. And then you want to bring your vertical to a 60 to make sure you can get all of these 60 dunk animations. And that right there is the cheapest way I would upgrade the build. And it's only going to cost you around 107k VC. Now, if you are going to play 2s or 3s, you are going to need pass accuracy and it is going to cost a little bit more. I don't know why pass accuracy is so expensive. Now, moving on to the animations I go with on this build. I'm not going to spend too much time on this part of the video. Just going to go through it quickly. Right here are my dribble animations. Y'all can go ahead and copy these for yourselves. Now, the only reason I have Steve Francis is because I do have my vet 2 cat breakers and I put +5 on my ball handle. If you can't get Steve Francis, you want to go Trey Young. And then if you can't get that, I think Darius Garland is the next best option in terms of 6 size up. I know De'Aaron Fox is also not bad. And then you also want to copy these scoring moves as well. Make sure you go Kyle Lowry hop jumper. That's pretty important. And then this is what I have on for my dunk package. For rim grazer, I don't have anything. For basic 2-handers off 2. You want to avoid the athletic dunks. You want to avoid the hangs. You want to, if you can get quick drops, I would recommend putting these on, but I can't get them. Only have an 80 driving dunk. If you made the other version though, you can. And then for the rest of these down the list, you don't really want to touch. None of them are really good. They all get blocked a lot. City dunks, you definitely want to avoid these. And if you can get any of the contact dunks, you do want to equip these though. And then for the 1 foot moving dunks, rim grazers, you want to avoid those. For the basic 2-handers off 1, you do want to put those on. You want to avoid athletic. Don't go with hangs. Quick drops off 1, you do want to equip. We can get those with 80 dunk, which is kind of crazy. You want to avoid the double clutches. Back scratchers are okay if you can get them. Reverses off 1, you want to equip. Now for the tomahawk dunks, we can't really get any of these. You want to avoid the windmill dunks. Cradle dunks, you do want to equip these. And then for the city dunks and the switcheroos, you do want to avoid those. And then of course, if you can get any of the contact dunks, you do want to equip those. Make sure you equip standing dunk animations as well. You want to equip all of these. And then for the NBA player dunks, have on Klay Thompson and Devin Booker. In terms of alley-oops, they don't really matter that much. I mean, if y'all want to equip some alley-oops, go ahead. Now moving on to the max +1s you want to go with for this build. Now for the tier 2, no question, you want to go a movable enforcer. There's no really like other badge that would really be good. And then for tier 1, you have a couple different options. You can go glove, you can go legend glove. That would be pretty nice to have on this build. That probably would be my choice if Deadeye wasn't right there and I could have Deadeye Legend. And then for the takeover on this build, I use Sniper. That is going to give you the deep bomber takeover, which allows you to shoot from way farther out. And then of course, as promised, here is my jump shot. Now for the base, you want to go Patty Mills. Upper release 1, you want to go Oscar Robertson. Upper release 2, Colin Sexton. For the visual cue, you want to go with release speed, you want to go max. And then for the animation blending, you want to go 5248. Now, if you cannot get that jump shot, do not worry, because I do have a video going over the best jump shot for every height and rating. Go ahead and click the top right to see that video for yourself.